the 1st of November. Dear Margaret, your letter came again, and you did the thing I asked. You put the date at the top in your own careful hand, the way we were both taught. And I want to tell you before anything else that the sight of it undid me a little. The simple, obedient kindness of it. My sister going to the trouble of writing the number down at the head of the page because her tired, far-off brother asked her to. The way you have done every kind thing I have ever needed without making me feel the weight of the asking. So I will say the warm thing first, because it is the truest thing, and because you taught me the order. Thank you for the date. Thank you for reaching for the count, on purpose, for me. It was the rope I asked you to throw, and you threw it, and I felt it land. And then I read the date you had written, and I have been holding it for 3 days, and I am going to set it down for you here, exactly as it stands at the top of your letter, and then I am going to do what I have learned to do out here, with the things that will not come out even. I'm going to tell you the truth of it plainly, and not dress it up, and not interrogate it past the point where interrogating it does any good. You dated your letter the 23rd of November, Margaret. I am writing to you on the 1st. I have checked it. I went down to the kitchen, to the services calendar on the wall, the one with the tide tables on the back that I told you about. The only honest numbered thing left in my life out here. And I put my finger on the square, and it is the 1st of November. Or near enough as the village will allow me to be sure of anything. The frost hard, and the year just turned its corner into the proper cold. And your letter, answering the one I sent you last, the one about the far garden and Mrs. Yarrow and the cutting, you take it all up by name. You could not have written this in answer to anything else. Your letter is dated 3 full weeks ahead of the day I am reading it on, the 23rd. You wrote to me, in reply to a letter I posted not many days ago, from a day that has not yet happened where I am sitting. I have tried, you will not be surprised to hear, to make it come out. I have tried every road into it that a reasonable man can try, and I have walked each one to its end and found the same wall. Perhaps, I thought, you simply wrote the wrong number. Anyone can. I have done it on a check and made a small disaster of it. But you do not write the wrong number, Margaret. You are the one fixed star of numbering in my whole life. The one who never once forgot a date that mattered, or several that did not. And even if you had erred, you would not have erred by 3 clean weeks into a month. You would have slipped a day, a 6 for a 5. Perhaps, I thought, the post is so strange here, and it is strange, I have given up pretending otherwise. Your letters reach me faster than letters can travel. Perhaps the same strangeness that speeds them also muddles their dating somewhere along the slow road. But the hand is yours, and the number is yours, formed the way you form your 3s, the little flat top to them you have made since you were a girl. And the date was written before the letter was sent, at your own kitchen table, in your own settled hand, and it says the 23rd of November, and I am reading it on the 1st. So here is the plain truth of it, set down and not dressed. Your time and mine no longer agree. That is the shape of the thing, however I turn it. When I came here, I worried. You will remember, I wrote you my fear of it. That the village was loosening my grip on the count. That a season might go by me while I stood at a baker's fire, and I would look up to find a year gone. I have made my uneasy peace with that, with my own loosening. I told you I had set the days down and could not pick them up, and that I had decided your letters would be my count instead of the days. But I did not think, it did not once occur to me to think, that the loosening might run the other way down the route, that it might reach you, that you, in your own kitchen, with your own calendar and your own boys and your own father stubborn by the fire, might begin to keep a different time from the world's, a time that runs ahead of mine, the way the post runs ahead of the distance, and that the first sign of it would be the very thing I asked you for as a safeguard, the date at the top of the page, coming back to me wrong. I asked you to reach for the count, to hold us steady, Margaret. And the count you reached for and wrote down in good faith is 3 weeks from mine. And I do not know. I genuinely, sitting here, do not know whether that means you have drifted, or I have, or both of us have, in opposite directions, each thinking the other still standing where we left them. And the worst of it, or the strangest, the part I keep taking out and looking at in the dark, the way I look at all of these things now, I cannot even be certain you are wrong. That is what the village has done to me. A month ago, I would have known, flatly, that it is the 1st of November and not the 23rd, the way I knew my own name. Now I stand in front of the service's calendar with my finger on the square, and a small, cold doubt opens under me. Because I have lost the trick of feeling the date in my body, the way the village feels the fog coming. And the calendar is only paper, and paper can be wrong. And your hand wrote the 23rd with such plain certainty that some part of me, I will confess it to you and to no one else, some part of me wonders whether it is my calendar that lies and your hand that tells the truth, whether somewhere it is the 23rd of November and I am the one who has fallen behind, the one whose count has stopped, standing on the 1st of the month like a clock with its hands jammed, while the real year goes on ahead without me, with you in it. I do not believe that. I am setting it down so you will know the size of the thing, not because I believe it. But I wanted you to see how far out I am, that the question can even be asked in here, in this room, by your brother, who used to be able to tell the time by the ache in his own bones, and now cannot tell it by a calendar nailed to a wall. There, that is the chair so far out of its place that it is in another room entirely. And I have set it down, and I am not going to interrogate it further tonight, because I have learned that there is a point past which turning these things only wears a groove in a man and tells him nothing. Your letter is dated the 23rd. I am reading it on the 1st. I am glad past saying that it came at all. I am going to take the warmth of it and leave the arithmetic of it lying in the open, the way I have left the road and the light on the church tower and the impossible speed of the post. And there is so much warmth in it, Margaret. That is the other thing I have to tell you. And I have been so taken up with the date that I have not yet said it. It is the warmest letter you have ever sent me. It is almost too warm. But let me come to that properly, and to the second strange thing in it, which is stranger than the date, and which I have been circling all this while because I am half afraid to write it down and make it real. The warmth first, because the warmth is the easier thing, and I want to give it to you while I still have the nerve. You wrote me the boys at length, and I drank it the way I always do. The elder has abandoned the building of towns and gone over wholly to maps, you said, drawing them on everything. Maps of places that are not anywhere, with coastlines he invents and names and defends, and one great map pinned over his bed of the country we don't live in, which he will not explain and adds a road to most evenings, And I sat a long while with that, Margaret. The country we don't live in. A road added to it each evening, because of course he is my nephew, and of course that is the kind of thing he would make. And I do not think I will tell him when I see him how near the bone his map of nowhere cuts to where his uncle actually lives. The younger has taught the cat, you said, to sit up for a scrap, and is charging admission again, a halfpenny to watch, and you have paid, again, and consider it again money well spent. And father laughed at it. Laughed, you wrote, properly, the first proper laugh in a while. And you wrote that line lightly, and I have read it 20 times, because a man does not often get to hear, from 100 miles and 3 weeks off, the sound of his father laughing. And then you wrote to me. And this is the warmth that is almost too warm. The warmth I have been turning over alongside the date. You wrote me a whole page that was only love. Not news, not the boys, not the garden. A page that said, in more ways than you have ever let yourself say it to me, that you miss me, that the chair-shaped quiet has not filled, that you keep the bench for me and sit on it more than you used to, that you have taken to talking to me in your head through the day, telling me things as they happen, so that you are half surprised, you said, when my letters come and prove I have not heard them already. You have never written me like that, Margaret. You are the one who fits a whole grief into a small, plain room of words and shuts the door on it gently. You do not, as a rule, fling the door open and stand in it calling. And in this letter you flung it open. It is the most openly loving thing you have ever sent me, and I have read it on my knees, more or less, by the lamp, and been more grateful for it than for anything since I came. And underneath the gratitude, quietly, the same small cold that came up under the date has come up under this too, because it is not quite like you, the openness. It is you turned up too bright. You with some governor gone off you that was always on before, and I cannot tell. Here is the refrain of this whole letter, Margaret. I cannot tell whether what I am reading is simply my sister loving me more plainly because I am far and ill and she is frightened for me, which would be the most ordinary and most precious thing in the world, or whether it is one more loosening, one more thing in you come unmoored in the same weeks that so much has come unmoored in me, the careful keeper of days and griefs, keeping them less carefully now. The doors she always held shut, swinging. Both, probably. It is always both, out here. I have stopped expecting it to be one. But the date and the openness are not the thing I am afraid to write. This is the thing. You thanked me for the cutting. You wrote, and I have it in front of me. I have not been able to put the letter down. It stands against the cornflower basin where they all stand. You wrote, the cutting you sent has taken, Edwin. I have it in by the wall, next the Angelica, and it has taken so well already, gone up pale and tall faster than anything I ever planted, that I half think it was glad to come home. Thank you for it. It was the kindest thing. I sit by the two of them, the old root and your new one, of an afternoon, and I think of you sending it all that way. Margaret, I have not sent you the cutting. It is here. It is on this desk. It is not a foot from my hand as I write you this, in the square of cloth Mrs. Yarrow damped at her butt of water and folded round it and pressed into my closed fingers and told me to carry next my chest and keep from drying. The cutting I told you, in my last letter, that I had decided not to send. Not yet. Not until I understood better what I would be doing if I did. I have kept my word to myself. I have not taken it to Mr. Thresher. I have not wrapped it for the post. I have done nothing with it but keep it damp and look at it, here, in this room, every day, the way I told you I would. And you, 3 weeks ahead of me and 100 miles off, have it in your ground by your wall, gone up pale and tall beside the Angelica, and you have been sitting by it of an afternoon thanking me for sending it, for weeks, in a future I have not yet reached, while the thing itself sits on my desk, having gone nowhere at all. I am looking at it now. It has grown, here in its cloth, with no earth, the way I told you the shoot had started. It is more than a shoot now. It has put up a pale, fine stem with the beginning of a leaf on it, in a damp rag on a cold desk, fed by nothing. And it is the same pale, tall, fast-growing thing you describe in by your wall. The same. I have no doubt of it at all, because Mrs. Yarrow told me what it was, and I did not properly hear her until tonight. It is all one root. That is what she said, standing in her warm garden with the bees in it, that you can carry a piece 1,000 miles and it grows up a stranger to itself and thinks it is its own self in its own new place. But it is the same root underneath, joined, here and away both. And the away part doesn't know it, but the root does. I thought she was telling me about myself, about being carried here and taking. She was telling me about the cutting. She gave me a piece of the far garden and told me to carry it to your wall, and I did not carry it, and it went anyway. It did not need me to carry it. It is all one root, and the root reached your wall on its own, through the ground, through whatever ground there is under all the distance between your kitchen and mine, and came up, pale and tall beside the Angelica, and you, bless you, you watered it and thanked me for it. Because how could you know that the brother you were thanking still had it sitting, undelivered, on his desk, looking at it, afraid of exactly this? I am not going to tell you, in my reply, that I never sent it. I have decided that, sitting here. I have turned it every way, and I have decided that there is no kindness in writing back to my sister, who is sitting happily by a new plant in her garden, believing it a gift from a brother who loves her, to tell her that he never sent it and cannot account for how it came. What would that give you but the cold I am holding now? So I will let you keep the gift. I will write you a warm letter back and let you go on thinking I sent it, because in every way that matters, I did mean to. I have meant to for weeks. The wanting and the not doing, so tangled in me that perhaps the wanting was enough. Perhaps out here, the wanting of a thing and the doing of it have got as close together as your time and mine. Close enough that a cutting I only meant to send could take root in your ground from the meaning alone. I am letting myself believe that tonight, because the other things I could believe are colder. You have the cutting. It is glad, you say, to have come home. I am going to be glad it is home, and not stand too long in this cold room, asking the pale thing on my desk how it managed to be in 2 places at once. Because I have asked the road that same question this week, and the road did not answer either. There, I have given you the 2 hard things, the date that runs ahead of me, and the cutting that went without me. And now let me arrange the furniture properly and tell you about the road, because the road is the new strangeness of this week, the thing I would be writing you about with simple delight if your letter had not arrived alongside it and turned the delight to something quieter. The year has gone fully over into winter now. November came in the night, the way the fog came, the way everything comes here. Without announcement, a fact already settled by morning. The frost that was a visitor in October has moved in and taken a lease. It does not burn off by noon anymore, only softens a little at midday and hardens again by 3, so that the village lives now in a kind of perpetual blue-white morning. The green of the green gone grey. The cobbles slick. Every breath a visible thing. The bakehouse runs every foggy morning, and the fruited loaf is daily now, and twice some days. The sitting up nights well begun. Mrs. Pell has brought down a second curtain. The woodpile is a wall. Anwen's grey knitting has become, she allowed at last, a blanket. For the cold coming. And she would not say for whom, and I have learned not to ask. The village has pulled its warmth so far inward that the evenings in the public room have become the whole of the lit world. A small gold box of firelight and faces with the enormous blue dark pressed up against the windows. And I am in the box, near the fire, with the brown dog on my boots, and I have stopped, almost entirely, wanting to be anywhere else, which is its own quiet alarm, and which I have decided, as I decide everything now, not to sound. I have kept up my walks. They have become the spine of my days. Out in the hard cold before the village is properly up, the small, soft room of my own breath travelling with me, the world coming clear, cottage by cottage. I told you the fog taught me to love it, and the frost has only deepened the lesson. And there is one walk I take most often, the one I have come to think of as mine. Out of the inn, and across the square, and down the dipping lane between the whitewashed cottages, the lane that runs toward the river, the one I told you about, where I came onto the old stone bridge by walking onto it, and could not, for a moment, tell which end was home. I walk it nearly every morning. I know it now the way you know the walk to your own gate. The particular tilt of the third cobble, the broken bit of wall where the ivy has got in, the cottage with the blue door, and the one with no door at all, only a curtain, the place where the lane dips sharpest and the river sound first reaches you. I know how long it takes. A man knows how long his own daily walk takes the way he knows the weight of his own coat, not by counting, but in the body. To the bridge and back is a short thing, a quarter of an hour, perhaps a little more if I stop on the bridge, which I do. Except that it is not, anymore, a short thing, or a fixed thing, or a thing my body can be sure of. That is what I have to tell you. The lane has stopped keeping its length. The lane, then. I noticed it first the way you notice that a familiar room has been rearranged in the dark. Not by seeing the change, but by barking your shin on it. I went out one morning this week, an ordinary hard frost morning, and walked down to the bridge and stood on it a while and walked back. The walk I have made 100 times. And when I came into the square, the whole morning had gone. Not a quarter of an hour, the better part of 3. The sun, such as it is now, had climbed from not yet up to past the church tower. Mrs. Pell had finished the breakfast things and started the bread. The village was fully awake and about its day, and I came up out of the lane blinking like a man come out of a theatre into the afternoon. Certain in my body, which is the only certainty I have left, that I had been gone the usual short while, and finding by every other sign that I had been gone for hours. I had not dawdled. I had not sat longer on the bridge. I had walked my walk at my pace, and the lane had simply taken 3 times as long to walk as it has ever taken, had paid out under my feet like a rope with no end to it, the cottages going by one after another, more of them than there are, the blue door, and then the curtained door, and then, I would have sworn, the blue door again, though there is only one, until at last the bridge and the river and the turning back and the same long paying out of cottages on the return and the lost morning waiting in the square. I told myself I had wool gathered. A man whose count of days has come loose is a man who might lose a morning in his own head and never feel it go. I know that. I have feared exactly that since I came. So the next day I went out and walked the same lane with my whole attention fixed on the walking, counting my own steps like a miser, determined to catch the morning in the act of escaping. And that day the lane was short, shorter than short. I had not got my count of steps past 200, had barely settled into the walking when the river sound came up, and there was the bridge under my feet. And I turned and came back, and was in the square again with the frost still hard, and the village not yet stirring, and no more than 10 minutes gone by any measure. My own body and the calendar of the sky in rare and total agreement that almost no time had passed at all. The same lane, the same pace, the same man. One morning 3 hours long, and the next morning 10 minutes, and nothing different between them that I could see or feel except the day itself, the bare fact of which day it was, which is the one fact I can no longer read. I did what I always do, Margaret. I gathered my evidence and I took it, carefully, to the people who would know, dressed as a small question. And I learned, as I always learn, that the thing I had been turning over all alone in the dark as a marvel and a terror is to them a fact so ordinary that my bringing it up was very nearly a rudeness, like a man at a stranger's table remarking with wonder that the sun had gone down. It was Mrs. Pell I asked first, because she is the easiest to ask, the way a wall is easy to lean on. I said, as lightly as I could manage over the cutting of the bread, that the river lane had played me a strange trick this week, long one morning and short the next, and I asked her, I made it a joke, or tried to, whether the lane had something against me. And she did not laugh, and she did not look up from the loaf, and she said, It's not got anything against you. It's just a long lane some days. As though that were an answer. As though a long lane some days were a thing a lane could simply be, the way a morning is a cold one some days. And then, because she is kind under the flatness, and saw, I think, that I needed more than that to hold, she added, You can tell, mostly, if you've the feel for it. There's a heaviness to the morning when it's going to be a long one. Reed has the feel best of any of us. Ask him. He'll tell you whether to take the lane or go round by the top. And she went on with the bread, and I stood there holding the two enormous things she had handed me without noticing she had handed me anything. That the lane's length is a thing the village can feel coming, like the fog, and that the blue-eyed man, the one whose name I have been too proud and too shy to ask for all these weeks, is called Reed. So I asked Reed that evening in the public room, and it is the longest I have ever spoken with him, and I am glad of the road for that, if for nothing else, because I have wanted a way into him for weeks and could not find one, and the road handed me one. He is younger than I had thought under the weather of his face. The blue eyes are very pale and very steady, and they do not, I noticed, blink as often as other men's. He heard me out, the long morning, the short morning, my counting of steps, my certainty in my body against the certainty of the sky, and he did not find any of it strange. And he did not, thank God, find me strange for minding it. He found me, I think, the way you find a child who has just discovered that the year has seasons, a little tender about it, a little amused, willing to explain. He said the river lane was one of the changeable ones, that the village had 3 or 4 such, lanes that don't hold their length, and that the river lane was the most changeable of them, always has been, and that you learned, living here, to read them. He said it was the morning that told you, not the lane, that some mornings have a long feel and some are short, and that on a long-feeling morning you did not take a changeable lane unless you had the day to spend in it, and that he himself, if he had to be somewhere, went round by the top on the long mornings, the high path, which is duller and steeper, and always, he said, exactly as long as it looks. And he said the thing that I have carried out of the whole conversation, the thing that joined the road to everything else, the Angelica and the far garden of this week. He said, it's the same as the time, really. We don't keep the lanes to a length any more than we keep the days to a number. We let them be what they are on the day. You'll get the feel of it. The ones that come from away never have it at first. They keep trying to walk the lane to a clock. You can't. The lane's not on the clock. Nothing here is, much, anymore. We agreed it wasn't, a long time back. And he turned back to the fire, and the dog shifted on my boots, and I sat there with, we agreed it wasn't, going through me like cold water. Because there it was again, the agreement. The same word Mrs. Pell used about the time on my very first night here. We keep the time ourselves now, we agree on it. And I understood, sitting by the fire, that the lane and the time are not two strangenesses, but one. That the village has, at some point too long ago for any of them to date, agreed to come off the clock entirely, agreed to let the days go unnumbered and the lanes go unmeasured, and the whole of duration become a thing felt rather than counted, a local weather, and that they live inside that agreement as comfortably as you live inside the fact of your own kitchen, and that it is only the man from away, the Angelica not yet settled, who keeps trying to walk the lane to a clock and barking his shin on the dark where the clock used to be. And here is the part I have not been able to put down. The place where the road stops being a marvel and becomes the thing I lie awake on. If the village is off the clock, if a lane here can take 3 hours or 10 minutes depending on a feel in the morning, if the days here go unnumbered because the people have agreed to stop numbering them, then I begin to understand, Margaret, how your letter can be dated 3 weeks ahead of mine. Because if time here is not a line that the whole world walks down together at the same pace, but a thing each place keeps for itself, agreed upon locally, felt rather than counted, then there is no reason your kitchen and my room should be at the same point on it. You are in a place that keeps the ordinary time, the world's time, the clock and calendar time we were both raised in. I am in a place that has come off it. And if I have come off it with them, if I have stopped keeping the count and started living in the village's felt, unnumbered, agreed upon duration, then I am no longer walking down the year at your pace. I have stepped off the line you are still on. And when you write to me, your letter has to cross not only the distance, but the gap between the time you keep and the time I have fallen into. And it arrives wearing a date from your line that means nothing on mine. The 23rd of November, in a place that has, very gently, stopped having a 23rd of anything. That is the only way I can make it come out, and it does not comfort me, because it means the distance between us is no longer a distance a letter can simply cross. It is a distance in the kind of time we are each living in, and I do not know how a man walks back across that. I do not know if the road that takes longer than it should, the road I keep promising you I am coming home by, even runs anymore from where I am to where you are. Or whether it runs, like the river lane, only round and round through cottages that repeat, paying out under my feet forever, never reaching the bridge. I have frightened you perhaps, and I did not altogether mean to, And I want to pull us both back now into the warm, small rooms of the week. Because the truth of my life here is that it is mostly warm and small and good. And the large, cold questions only come at the edges of it, at the end of a lane or the top of a page. And the rest of the day is bread and fire and faces. And I would not have you think I am living in terror. I am not. I am living, most hours, better than I have lived in years. That is the part I can never quite get into a letter without it sounding like a betrayal of the home I left. And it is not a betrayal. It is only true. I think of home most at dusk, which is early now, and earlier each day. The light going out of the afternoon as though someone were turning a wick down. That is your hour, in my mind. The hour I see your kitchen most clearly. The lamp lit, the boys at the table. The particular yellow of your window from the lane if a man was standing in it looking in. Which I am, always, in the part of me that never came north at all. I think of the bench. You wrote that you sit on it more than you used to, and I have not been able to stop seeing it. The two of us not on it. The cornflower border in front of it gone to frost and stalk now, surely. The way everything is gone to frost. And I want you to know that I sat, this week, on the cold stone step at the back of the inn yard, in the early dark, in more or less the attitude we used to sit in, and kept you the empty half of the step. And we had one of our long sittings without a word in it. You 100 miles and 3 weeks south, and me on a cold step in the north. And it was as good as any we ever had. Distance does not stop a sitting. I have learned that much. I do not think time does either, whatever the date at the top of your letter says. I think two people who have sat quiet together enough times can do it across anything. And then I go in, because the cold drives me in. And the inn at this hour, in this season, is the warmest place I have ever been in my life. And I do not say that lightly. I, who grew up in your kitchen. The public room of an evening now is the whole lit world, as I told you. The fire built up, the lamps lit, the windows gone black and the black pressing on them. And inside the gold, a dozen faces I now know better than I know my own neighbours of 20 years at home. Mrs. Pell at the tap, Reed by the fire with his pale, unblinking eyes, mine to talk to now, a thing the road gave me. Anwen, and the grey blanket that will not say its purpose. The brown dog who has elected my boots his bed for the season, and whom I no longer disturb. Old Hartle, who says little and misses nothing. The sitting up nights have begun in earnest. The long November nights where the village does not so much go to bed as bank itself like a fire. Half of them dozing in the public room till all hours, because the walk home is cold, and the fire is here, and there is no clock telling them they ought to be elsewhere. They have come off the clock for sleep too, I have realized. They sleep when the sleep comes, and wake when it lifts, in the chairs, by the fire, and no one thinks it strange, and lately neither do I. I have dozed there myself, more than once, woken to the fire gone low and someone's blanket over me that I did not put there, and lain a moment in the dark, warm room, full of breathing people and been, I will say it to you, happy. Simply happy. A kind of happy I had stopped believing was still being manufactured anywhere in the world. The noticing this week. You will want it. You always want it. You told me once it was the part of my letters you read first, and I have never forgotten that. It is half of why I hunt one out for you each time. The noticing this week is the children's rhyme. I did not know, until this week, that the children here have a rhyme for the lane. Of course they do. Of course they have made the thing I lie awake on into a skipping game. That is what children are for, I sometimes think. To take the terrors the grown people carry carefully in both hands and turn them into something you chant while a rope goes round. I heard it from the doorway of the bakehouse, 3 of the small ones at the rope in the lane in the last of the light. And the rhyme they skip to is a rhyme for telling whether the lane will be long or short. A weather rhyme, a counting out, the kind of thing that has clearly been skipped in this village for 100 years and will be skipped for 100 more. I caught only pieces of it. Mist on the sill, the lane runs long. Sun on the stone, the lane runs short. And then a part I could not hear, and then a turn I have not been able to get out of my head. The littlest one singing it with the total unconcern of a child singing about the days of the week. And the day you can't count is the day you stay home. The day you can't count is the day you stay home. They know, Margaret. The children know that there are days here you cannot count, and they have a rule for them, a kind rule, a stay home and be safe rule, sung at a skipping rope in the frost. And it undid me far more than the date at the top of your letter did, because it meant the thing that is happening to me has happened here so long and so often that the children have folded it into a game. And there is something in that I find I cannot decide is the loneliest thing I ever heard, or the most comforting. Both. It is always both. Let me give you a long day whole, since I have told you they happen and not yet let you walk one, and walking one is the only way to know it. A long day is not a thing you can be told, only a thing you can be taken slowly through. And I have all the slowness in the world to take you through it with. It was the morning after your letter came. There was mist on the sill when I woke. The children's sign, mist on the sill, the lane runs long. And I had nowhere I needed to be, which is the only honest way to walk a long lane. So I went down into the cold and out across the square and into the river lane on purpose. The way you might wade out into deep water on a day you have decided not to be afraid of it. And it paid out. I want you to feel how gently it does it, because that is the part that frightened me at first and does not frighten me now. There is no lurch, no door that opens onto the wrong country, no moment you could point to and say, there, that is where the lane went strange. There is only walking. You walk past the cottage with the blue door, and then the one with no door, only the curtain, and then the broken bit of wall where the ivy has got in. All of it exactly itself, exactly where it always is. And you walk on, and there is another cottage, and another, and they are the right cottages in the right order, and there are simply more of them than there are. You pass the blue door. You walk on a while. You pass, you would swear, the blue door again, though there is only one blue door in the lane, and you have not turned round. The mist holds everything close and grey and soft, so that each cottage swims up out of it a few feet ahead and sinks back into it a few feet behind. And the world is never more than a small moving room of mist with you in the middle of it, and the cobbles wet and tilting under your feet, and the river sound, which on a short day comes up to meet you almost at once, stays far off, stays ahead, a faint, cold whisper that does not come nearer however long you walk toward it. And the strange thing, the thing I could not have told you and can only walk you through, is how quiet it is inside. How the long lane empties a man out. On a long day you stop, after a while, expecting the bridge. You stop measuring. You stop counting the cottages, because the counting only tells you what you already cannot believe. And when you stop measuring, you fall into the walking the way you fall into sleep, one foot and then the other, the mist opening and closing, the cold even and clean in your chest. And your thoughts go loose and slow and far apart, the way they do in the last hour before sleep, when one thought finishes and the next does not come for a long while, and you do not mind the gap. I thought about you in the gaps. I thought about the bench. I thought about nothing for long stretches, in the good way, the way the village seems to think about nothing, the mind gone quiet as a banked fire. I was not afraid. That is what I came home with, more than anything. That a long lane, once you stop fighting it for its length, is the most peaceful place I have found in this whole peaceful, strange country. An hour or 3 hours of soft grey walking with the measuring switched off. And that this exactly, is both the gift of the place and its danger, the very thing I am most glad of and most afraid of, the switching off of the measuring, the falling into the walking, the not minding how long. And then, always, every time, I promise you, it has never once failed. The cobbles tilt down sharper under your feet, and the river sound that stayed so far off for so long is suddenly close and full, and the mist thins, and there is the old stone bridge, grey and patient, exactly where it has always been, no further into the strangeness than it ever was. Just a bridge over a brown, cold river at the bottom of a lane. And you stand on it a while, as I always do, and the going out is over, and there is only the coming back, which is as long as the going out was, the same slow paying out of cottages in the other order now, the blue door, the curtain, the ivy, more of them than there are, and then the square, and the village gone on into its afternoon without you, the morning spent, and bread, and the fire, and the day you cannot count, folded quietly in behind you with all the others. And I should give you a night, too, to set against the day, because the nights now are the other half of how I live, and they are all one long gold sitting up that the week dips in and out of. I have told you the public room of an evening is the whole lit world. Let me sit you down in it properly, on the settle by the fire, with the dog's weight on your boots and the black pressing the windows, and let you stay a while, because there is nowhere I would rather have you. The sitting up nights are not parties. You must not imagine talk and laughter all the night through. They are quieter than that, and stranger, and far better. The village comes in off the cold lanes as the dark settles, in ones and twos, and takes its places, and they have places, the way a family has places at a table, unspoken and absolute. Reed by the fire on the right, Hartle in the high-back chair that no one else ever takes, Anwen near the lamp for her grey wool, Mrs. Pell in and out from the tap, and they settle, and the fire is built up, and then for long stretches nobody says anything at all. And it is not an awkward silence, it is the opposite of one. It is a whole room full of people who have known each other so long and so well that being silent together by a fire is the evening's whole entertainment, and a complete one. I have come to love those silences more than any talk. A log settles. The dog dreams and his paws go. Anwen's needles tick. Someone gets up and mends the fire and sits down again. The night goes on outside, and we are all in the gold, off the clock, sleeping when the sleep comes. And then, sometimes, late, old Hartle will say a thing. He is the oldest of them, and he says the least, and he misses nothing. And when he speaks, the room turns to him the way a field turns to weather. He does not tell stories, exactly. He lets fall a piece of one, the way you might let fall a remark about a winter long ago, and then go quiet again and leave you to hold it. He let one fall this week, after the fire was mended, with his eyes half shut. He said that the lanes had not always run long, that there had been a time, before his grandfather's grandfather, when Hollowmere kept the clock like anywhere else. The days numbered, the lanes measured, the bells rung on the hour from the church tower I have told you about, the tower whose bell does not ring now. And he said, and the room was very quiet, and the dog had stopped dreaming, that the village had let it go, on purpose, the numbering and the measuring and the ringing, a long way back in a hard season, because the keeping of it had come to cost more than the having of it, and that once a place has agreed to set the clock down, it cannot easily pick it up again, and that the lanes had gone strange first and the days after, and that this was not a sorrow to the village but a kind of peace, the only peace going in his telling, and that folk from away never understood it, and a few of them, over the years, had come too. And then he said no more, and shut his eyes the rest of the way, and the fire ticked, and after a while Mrs. Pell took the empty cups, and I sat there with before his grandfather's grandfather going round and round in me, a village that put the clock down in a hard season and could not pick it up. And I did not know whether I had been told a history, or a warning, or a lullaby. And I have decided, the way I decide everything now, that it was all three, and let it be. I dozed after that. I told you I do now, by the fire, like the rest of them. I woke once in the low red dark of the burned down fire, with the grey blanket over me that I never ask for and never see arrive, and the room half full of sleeping, breathing people, Hartle gone or asleep in his chair, Reed's pale eyes shut at last, the dog a warm weight, and I lay still and did not get up and was, God help me, as much at home as I have ever been anywhere, and told you so, silently, in the running letter, before I slept again. I tried to go back to the far garden this week. I should tell you that, since you will want to know what came of Mrs. Yarrow and her warm-walled June, and since it is part of the same weave. After your letter came, after the cutting, I wanted nothing in the world so much as to walk back over the hill to that green door and ask the old woman the two questions sitting on my chest. How a cutting I never sent could be growing by my sister's wall, and how my sister's letter could be dated 3 weeks ahead of the day I read it. Because she is the one soul in this place who speaks plainly about the long route, who would, I felt sure, have an answer, or at least the same kind, sideways, half-comforting answer she gave me before. So I went. I waited for a hard, bright morning, the kind I crossed the hill on the first time, and I went out past the last cottage and up the frozen slope the way I had gone before, watching for the smell of it, the impossible green, warm summer smell that had pulled me over the brow of the hill to the garden where it is always June. The summer smell did not come, Margaret. There was no smell but cold and frost and wood smoke. I went up the hill and over the brow and down the far side, where the walled garden had stood warm and buzzing in the middle of October's grey, and there was no garden. There was a hillside. There was frozen bracken and a tumble of old grey stone that might once, a long time ago, have been a wall, and might not, and a flat place where something might once have grown, and the wind coming over it with nothing summer in it at all. I stood where I am almost sure the green door was, and there was no door, and no wall high enough to hang one in. Only the long, cold view north, and my own breath going away from me on the wind. I called out. I am not proud of it, but I will tell you. I stood on a frozen hillside and called an old woman's name into the wind like a fool. And nothing answered but the wind. And after a while I came home, the long way, by the river lane, which was a long one that day. And I had the whole long paying out of it to think about a garden that is there when it wants to be reached, and not there when you go to it with questions on your chest. The far garden keeps its own rules, the way the lane keeps its own length, and the village keeps its own time. You cannot go to it. It comes to you, or it does not. I had thought after October that I had found a door I could go back through. I had not. I had been let in once and given a thing to carry, and told a thing to keep, and the door had closed behind me, and the garden had gone back to being a frozen hill with a tumble of stone on it, the way it had no doubt been for the village's whole memory, the way the children probably have a rhyme for that too. So I came back to the cutting, here on my desk, with my questions unanswered, and I sat with it a long time last night, the pale, fine stem of it, the one little leaf, the impossible green life of it going on in a damp rag, fed by nothing in a cold room. And I made a decision, and I want to tell it to you because it is the one thing this week I've actually done, as against all the things that have merely happened to me. I am going to plant it, here. Not send it, it is already at your wall, by some road I cannot travel, and I've made my peace with letting you keep that gift and not asking how. But I cannot send this piece, the piece in my hand, and I cannot keep it in a rag forever, and I cannot, I find, bear to let it die. This green, stubborn thing Mrs. Yarrow closed my fingers round in a garden that is no longer there. So I have begged a pot from Mrs. Pell and a measure of earth from the kitchen garden, and tonight or tomorrow I am going to put the cutting in it and stand it in my window, here in Hollowmere, and grow it. The same root, Margaret. That is the whole of my reasoning, and I know how it will sound to you, but I have stopped minding how things sound. Mrs. Yarrow said it is all one root, here and away both, the same self in two places, thinking itself too. Well, there is a piece of it at your wall in the south, gone up pale and tall by the Angelica, and there will be a piece of it in my window in the north, and they will be one root, joined under all the distance, the way she said. And when I sit by mine of an evening, I will know you are sitting by yours, 3 weeks ahead of me, or wherever you are on the year. And the root will not care about the 3 weeks or the 100 miles, because roots do not keep time or distance. Only people do, and only some people, and only when they still have the clock. It is the nearest thing to sitting on the bench with you that I can build with my own hands out of what I have been given. So I am going to build it. I am going to grow the far garden in my window and let it be the rope, since the dates have stopped being one. And now I must answer the warm page, the page that was only love, because I have left it to last, the way you leave the thing you most want and most fear on your plate. And it deserves better than to be left, and I am going to try to meet it. Openness for openness, door for open door, though I am clumsier at it than you, and always have been. You said you talk to me in your head through the day, telling me things as they happen, so that you are half surprised when my letters come and prove I have not heard them. Margaret, I do the same. I have done it since the first night. I narrate this whole strange life to you as I live it. I have a running letter to you going all hours under everything I do, so that the letters I actually post are only the times I sit down and write out loud what I have been telling you silently all week. When I stood on the frozen hill and called Mrs. Yarrow's name into the wind, I was telling you even then, even in the foolishness of it. Margaret, I have come all this way and the garden is gone. When the lane paid out 3 hours long, I told you every cottage of it. I think, if our times have truly come apart, if I am on the village's felt unnumbered duration now, and you are on the world's good clock, then perhaps this is the one thread that still runs true between the two times. Not the post, which arrives wearing wrong dates, not the cutting, which travels by roads I can't follow, but this, the running silent letter, you telling me your day in your kitchen, and me telling you mine in my window, both of us half surprised that the other did not already hear. Perhaps that is the long route in us. Perhaps that is the part of us that is one route in two places, here and away both, thinking itself two and not. I would rather believe that than believe the dates, so I am choosing to. You tell me your day, I hear it. I tell you mine, you hear it. The clock can do what it likes. Here is what I have settled then, out of a hard, strange week. And I want to set it down plainly so you have it, because I know my letters can read like a man sinking, and I am not sinking. I am choosing, which is a different thing that can wear the same face. I'm going to keep writing the date at the top, and so must you, even though they no longer agree. Especially because they no longer agree. Let mine say the 1st and yours say the 23rd, and let them sit there disagreeing at the tops of our pages like two clocks in two rooms, both right where they stand. I would rather have your wrong date than no date. I would rather know what day it is in your kitchen, even if it is a day I have not reached, than not know you at all. The dates are not a measurement anymore. They are a greeting. They are each of us saying, here is where I am standing on the year. Come and find me. So keep sending me yours, and I will keep sending you mine, and we will let the arithmetic stay broken and right across the break. The way the cutting grew across the distance, the way you and I sat across 100 miles on a cold step and a warm bench at the same hour without a word. And the road I keep promising you I am coming home by, the road that takes longer than it should. I have been afraid this week that I had finally learned the truth of my own refrain, that the road home is not merely long, but the river lane writ large, a road that pays out cottages forever and never reaches the bridge, that I have wandered into a place a man does not walk back out of, where even the lanes within it will not hold a length, and the gardens will not hold a place, and the very dates will not hold a number. And I will not pretend to you that I am sure that is not so. But I noticed a thing, walking the long lane home from the vanished garden, and I have held on to it. And I give it to you now as the nearest thing I have to a promise. The lane, on the long days, it does reach the bridge. It pays out and pays out, more cottages than there are, the blue door twice, the morning gone. But it does, every time in the end, come to the bridge and the river and the turning back. It has never once failed to reach the bridge, It only takes longer than it should. And that, Margaret, is the exact and entire truth of my road home. The literal truth now, as it was always the felt one. It takes longer than it should. Far longer. Longer than either of us bargained for when I set out. Longer than is reasonable or fair. And it reaches the bridge. I have to believe it reaches the bridge. The children sing that the day you can't count is the day you stay home. And I have had a great many days I cannot count. And I have stayed, and stayed, and stayed. But staying is not the same as never coming. And a long lane is not the same as no lane. And a road that takes longer than it should is still, underneath the word longer, a road that goes there. I am on it. I am on it even when I am sitting still in a warm gold room with a dog on my boots being happier than I can account for. The staying and the coming home are not, I have decided, at war. The route is in two places, and it is one route. I am here, and I am on my way to you, and both are true, and I have stopped letting anyone, including myself, tell me I must choose which. I will tell you the one fear I have not dressed up, since we are leaving the doors open tonight. It is not the date, and it is not the cutting, and it is not even the road. It is the happiness. I wrote it to you a few lines back as though it were only sweet, that I doze by the fire and wake with a blanket I did not put on me, and lie there simply happy. And it is sweet. Every word of it is true and sweet. But I have come to see this week that the happiness is the softest rope of all. The one I cannot feel as a rope because it feels like a gift, and a place that wished to keep a man forever could do worse than keep him exactly the way this place keeps me. Warm, and fed, and known, and dozing by a fire with no clock telling him he ought to be anywhere else, until the days he cannot count have stacked up into a season, and the season into a year, and the man looks up one evening from the warm gold room, and finds he has been so content that he forgot, for a while, that he was on his way somewhere, that there was a bench in the south with an empty half kept for him. That is the fear. Not that Hollowmere will trap me against my will, that it will keep me with my will, with my glad and grateful will, one comfortable, unnumbered evening at a time. And the only guard I have found against it, I have looked this whole strange week for a guard. The only one is you, is this, is the writing. As long as I am writing the running letter to you under everything, as long as I sit by the cutting in my window of an evening and know it for a piece of a route that runs south to your wall, as long as there is a date at the top of the page, even a wrong one, I am a man on a road, and not a man who has arrived and forgotten he was going. You keep me coming home, Margaret, simply by being there to come home to. The bench you keep on purpose is the far end of my road, and I need you to go on keeping it, more than I have ever needed anything, because the road is long past reason now, and a man on a road that long needs to be very sure there is a bench at the end of it, or he will, some warm evening, sit down where he is and call it home. So keep the bench. Keep writing me the date, wrong as it comes. Keep telling me your day in your head, and I will keep hearing it and telling you mine. Water the cutting by your wall, and know I am watering its other half in my window in the north. One route, here and away both. And do not be frightened by this letter, even the cold parts of it, because I am not frightened, or not only frightened. I am, underneath all of it, exactly where I told you I was at the end of my last letter, held here by soft ropes and a long route, and still, plainly, gladly on my way to you, by a road that takes longer than it should and reaches the bridge every time. It is very late now, by whatever clock I am still keeping. The fire downstairs has burned down. I can tell by the cold creeping up the stairs and under the door. The particular North Country cold that has its own patience. The cutting is on the desk in its rag, waiting for its pot. Tomorrow, if tomorrow is a day I can count, I will plant it, and I will walk the river lane, long or short as it cares to be, and I will come back and there will be bread and faces and the gold room and the dog and the blanket I did not ask for. And I will be happy, and I will be on my way to you, and both will be true. I have a whole life here now, Margaret. That is the strangest thing of all. Stranger than the date or the garden or the lane. That the man who came north a few months ago with a candle in an inn window and an ache he could not name has, somehow, in a place where the days will not hold still, built a life. I only need to make sure it stays a life I am living on the way home, and not a life I have moved into instead. You are how I tell the difference. You always were. Give my love to the boys. To the map maker, his uncle says the country we don't live in is a fine country, and he should keep adding roads to it. One always reaches the bridge. To the showman, his uncle says a halfpenny to watch the cats sit up is fair and honest commerce, and he should raise his prices. Tell father I heard him laugh from 100 miles off, and it was the best sound I have had since I came. And keep the largest part of it for yourself, the part I am clumsy at saying, and will keep practicing until I am home and can say it on the bench with no words at all. Your brother. One route in two places, here and away both. Keeping a wrong date on purpose at the top of the page, so you will know where to find me. And coming home, always coming home, by the long way that reaches the bridge. Edwin. Postscript. I could not wait for the morning after all. I've just been down to the dark kitchen by the last of the banked fire and begged the pot and the earth a night early, and I have planted the cutting, here, now, by lamplight, with the cold coming up under the door, and it is done. It is in its earth. It is standing in my window, with the black night behind it, and the south somewhere out there past the glass, and I feel easier for it than I have felt all week, a small, foolish gardener's ease, the ease of a thing got into the ground at last. And then, standing back from it, I realize something I want to tell you, because it is the kind of thing only you will understand the weight of. I do not know what it is, the plant. I never asked Mrs. Yarrow its name. There was so much else in that warm, green hour that I never thought to, and now the garden is a frozen hill, and there is no one to ask. And you, in your letter, you did not name it either. You called it your cutting, and the new root, and the pale, tall thing by the Angelica. But you never said what it was. And I think, Margaret, that you do not know either. So here we are, the two of us, 100 miles and 3 weeks apart, each with a piece of the same nameless green thing growing in our keeping. You by your wall in the south, and me in my window in the north, tending it faithfully, watering it, sitting by it of an evening, and neither of us has the least idea what it is. And I find I do not mind. I find I rather love it. We are growing something we cannot name, together, across a distance and across a gap in time, from a garden that is no longer there, given by a woman I cannot find again, and it is thriving in both places. And perhaps not knowing what it is the most honest thing about it, because I do not altogether know what I am anymore either, here in this place that put down its clock in a hard season and could not pick it up. And I am thriving too, in my way, nameless and far from home, and on a road that takes longer than it should. And you are tending me the same as the plant, faithfully, across the gap, not quite knowing what I have become, and loving me anyway. One route, here and away both. I will tell you if mine flowers. You tell me if yours does. Between the two of us, we may yet find out what we have been growing. And I have dated this postscript too. Look, it is past midnight now. So I will call it the 2nd of November by my clock, the one that no longer agrees with yours. Keep yours, I will keep mine. Somewhere between the 1st of November in the north and the 23rd in the south, there is the true place where my sister and I are sitting on a bench together, not saying anything. And that is the only date that was ever really mine. And I carry it at the top of every page, whether I write it down or not. Sleep well, Margaret. Keep the bench. I am coming by the long way, which reaches the bridge. E.